911 emergency.
Hi, I need help.
Hello?
I need help.
Okay, where are you located? I'm sorry, ma'am, I can't hear you. Are you able to tell me where you're located?
No.
Are you at a...
553 Sheldon Avenue Southeast. Please hurry now.
Okay, I got Sheldon. What's the number?
553. Hurry, please hurry up.
553 Sheldon. Okay, can you tell me what's going on there?
Can you just hurry up, please? I'm gonna die. You're trying to kill me. You already killed my auntie. Just hurry up, please.
Okay, ma'am, I'll start the police that way. Can you tell me what your name is?
Kiona.
Also breaking at noon, the Kent County Prosecutor's Office has issued a warrant charging 2 counts of open murder. Derrell Demon Brown is wanted in connection to the double murder of Keyona Griffin and Cherletta Baber-Bey. They were shot and killed back in March. Police say all 3 of them lived inside a house on Sheldon Avenue Southeast.
It was March 13, 2019 in Grand Rapids, Michigan. 25-year-old Keyona Griffin was hiding somewhere in her home on Sheldon Avenue, terrified and alone. Her aunt, Cherletta Baber-Bey, was already dead, and the killer was still inside the house. Police rushed to the scene. They knocked on the doors, they looked through the windows, but no one answered. After just 3 minutes, they left. What happened next would haunt a family, destroy a community, and expose a deadly failure that cost 2 innocent lives. Before we get into this heartbreaking case, if you're a true crime fan, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a case. And drop a comment below. What state or country are you watching from? Because what you're about to hear is a story of trust broken, warning signs ignored, and a killer who vanished without a trace. A man who is still out there today, walking free, while 2 families are left with nothing but grief and unanswered questions. The question is, could Keyona Griffin have been saved? Let's find out. To understand this tragedy, you need to know who Keyona Griffin and Cherletta Baber-Bey really were. Keyona Griffin was born in 1993 and grew up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. She turned 25 years old on March 8, 2019, just 5 days before she died. Friends and family described her as vibrant, loving, and loyal. She had no children and no romantic partner. Her entire world was her family. Kiona was the kind of person who would drop everything to help someone she loved. She had a gentle spirit and a warm smile that could light up any room. Her family was her anchor, and she was fiercely protective of the people closest to her. One of those people was her aunt, Cherletta Baber-Bey. Cherletta was 47 years old and worked as an educator. She was respected in her community for her kindness and dedication to her students. People who knew her said she was sweet, nurturing, and always willing to lend a hand. She had a big heart and trusted people easily, sometimes too easily. Kiona and Cherletta weren't just aunt and niece. They were best friends. They lived together in a home on 553 Sheldon Avenue SE, a house owned by Cherletta's mother, Jacqueline Baber-Bey. It was a close-knit family home filled with love and support. The 2 women spent a lot of time together. They talked, laughed, and looked out for each other. Kiona admired her aunt, and Cherletta treated her niece like a daughter. Their bond was strong, and their family meant everything to them. But there was someone else living in that house, someone who didn't quite fit in. Cherletta had a boyfriend. His name was Jay. Before Cherletta, this relationship was a big deal. Family members said she had never been very social.
They said that about my sister too. She was quiet, she wasn't a social person.
Jay was her first real boyfriend, and she was happy to have someone in her life. The couple kept to themselves most of the time, spending hours in their bedroom together. But the family didn't know much about Jay. In fact, they barely knew anything at all. He didn't have a job. He didn't use Facebook or any social media. No one in the family had his phone number. They didn't know where he came from or who his family was. When asked about him, most family members said they didn't care for Jay and didn't speak to him often. He was a mystery. a stranger living under their roof. What the family didn't know was that Jay wasn't even his real name. So who was Jay? His real name was Derrell Demon Brown. He was born on February 3, 1974, which made him 45 years old in 2019. He stood about 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighed around 180 pounds. But here's the thing about Derrell Brown. He didn't just go by one name. He used multiple aliases to hide his identity. Some of the names he went by included Darrow Robinson, Carter Brown, Derek Brown, Michael Richardson, Marcus Wright, and of course, Jay. Why would someone need so many fake names? Because Derrell Brown had a past he didn't want people to know about. He had a history of domestic violence. He had been jailed before for failing to pay child support, and he lived completely off the grid. No job, no social media accounts, no phone number that anyone could track. He was a ghost, moving through life without leaving a trace. So how did he end up living with the Baber-Bey family? Years before the murders, Reverend Robert Dean had hosted Brown at his church in Grand Rapids. Brown was homeless at the time, and the Reverend was trying to help him get back on his feet. But no one kept track of Brown's behavior or where he went after that. Somehow, Brown found his way to Cherletta Baber-Bey, and by March 2019, he had been living in her home for at least 2 years. But even after all that time, the family still knew almost nothing about him. The family didn't have his phone number. They didn't know any of his relatives. They didn't even know he had been to jail. As far as they knew, he didn't have friends, didn't use Facebook, and didn't work. He was just there, quiet, isolated, always in the background. Brown and Cherletta spent most of their time in their bedroom, away from the rest of the family. They kept to themselves, and Cherletta seemed happy, so the family didn't push. But there were warning signs. Brown had dated other women before Cherletta. One of those women later told police that Brown had been very commanding during their relationship. She said he controlled her and made her feel trapped. And here's something even more disturbing. Around the time she was dating Brown, her gun went missing. She reported it stolen in July 2017. That gun was a 9mm high-point pistol. She also filed a complaint in 2018 about harassing text messages. The person sending those messages? Her ex-boyfriend, known as Jay. The pieces were all there, the red flags were waving, but no one connected the dots until it was too late. Brown was controlling. He isolated Cherletta from her family. He had a violent past. He used fake names. He had no job, no social media, no way for anyone to track him down. And he had access to a stolen gun. The family had no idea that the man sleeping under their roof was a ticking time bomb. On the morning of March 13, 2019, that bomb finally went off. And when it did, it would destroy 2 lives, tear apart a family, and leave a community searching for answers that still haven't come. Because after the murders, Derrell Demon Brown disappeared. And to this day, he's still out there. March 13, 2019. Started like any other day at 553 Sheldon Avenue, SE. Jacqueline Baber-Bey, who owned the home, left for work at 8 a.m. She had no idea what was about to happen. No idea that by the end of the day, 2 of the people she loved most would be gone inside the house. Cherletta Baber-Bey was in her bedroom. She was lying in bed watching something on her iPad. She had earbuds in her ears, relaxed and unaware of any danger. Then, without warning, someone shot her in the back of the head. Cherletta never saw it coming. She never had a chance to fight back or run. The killer shot her while she lay there, earbuds still in her ears, iPad still playing on the pillow beside her. It was cold, it was quick, and it was meant to kill. Somewhere else in the house, Keyona Griffin heard what happened. She knew her aunt was dead, and she knew she was next. Kiona was terrified. She had to hide, she had to stay quiet, and she had to call for help. At around 10:30 a.m., just before the clock hit 10:30, Kiona dialed 911, but she couldn't speak loudly. The killer was still in the house. If he heard her, she was dead. So she whispered.
911 emergency.
Hi, I need help.
Hello?
I need help.
Okay, where are you located? I'm sorry, ma'am, I can't hear you. Are you able to tell me where you're located? Are you at a...
553 Sheldon Avenue Southeast. Please hurry now.
Okay, I got Sheldon. What's the number?
553. Hurry, please hurry up.
553 Sheldon. Okay, can you tell me what's going on there?
Can you just hurry up, please? I'm gonna die. You're trying to kill me. You already killed my name. You need to hurry up, please.
Okay, ma'am, I'll start the police that way. Can you tell me what your name is?
Kiona.
Then the call disconnected. Help was on the way. But would it come in time? 7 minutes and 41 seconds after Keona's call ended, 3 police officers arrived at 553 Sheldon Avenue SE. They knocked on the front door. No answer. One officer knocked 3 times with his fist, then once with the door knocker. He tried the doorknob. It was locked. Another officer went to the side door. He knocked. Also locked. He looked through a window and saw what looked like a dining room. It was empty. A third officer checked the back of the house. Nothing there either. The officers asked the dispatcher to try calling Kiona back, but she didn't pick up. The house was quiet. The doors were locked. There was no blood visible from the outside, no signs of a break-in, no sounds coming from inside. After just 3 minutes and 42 seconds, the officers left. They had no way of knowing that Keyona Griffin was still alive inside that house, hiding, waiting, praying that help would come back. But help didn't come back. For the next 2 hours, Kiona was alone with her killer. And then Derrell Brown shot her. He shot her 4 times. One of those bullets hit her in the face. Keyona Griffin, who had turned 25 just 5 days earlier, was dead. 2 hours and 18 minutes after Kiona's desperate 911 call, her brother arrived at the house. His name was Sanford Cummings II. He had come to check on his sister and his aunt. When he walked inside, he saw something no one should ever have to see. Blood everywhere. He found Kiona lying on the floor of an upstairs bedroom. She wasn't moving. Sanford immediately called 911.
911 emergency.
From the 553 Sheldon, my sister's not moving.
What's the address?
553 Sheldon, there's blood everywhere. My sister's not moving.
Okay, stand on line. You said shirt?
Sheldon, 553
Sheldon.
Sheldon, Southeast. It's a yellow house, please. Hurry up.
553 Sheldon Avenue Southeast, so correct?
Yes, please.
You said she's not breathing.
I don't know. She's not moving. I'm holding her head, please.
Okay, all righty. Stand on line with me. I do have fire and police on the way.
7 minutes later, police returned to 553 Sheldon Avenue SE for the second time that day. This time they went inside. In one upstairs bedroom, they found Keyona Griffin's body. She had been shot 4 times. In another bedroom, they found Cherletta Baber-Bey. She was lying on her bed, covered with a blanket. She had been shot in the back of the head. Her iPad was still playing. Her earbuds were still in her ears. 2 women, 2 murders, both in the same house. Jacqueline Baber-Bey, who owned the home, had been at work since 8 a.m. She was safe. But there was a 4th person who lived in that house, Cherletta's boyfriend. The man the family called Jay. Derrell Demon Brown was missing, and by the time police realized he was gone, he had already disappeared. The manhunt was about to begin. With 2 bodies in the house and 1 resident missing, police knew exactly where to focus their investigation. Derrell Brown was the only suspect. But first, they had to prove that Jay and Derrell Brown were the same person. One detective was searching Cherletta's bedroom when she found something important. On the top shelf of the closet, there was an orange Nike shoebox. Inside that box were old letters. Letters sent to Cherletta from jail, and they were all signed J. But here's the key detail. In one of those letters, the writer told Cherletta that his real name was Derrell, but he goes by J. That was the proof they needed. J was Derrell Demon Brown. Now they had a name. But they still needed to find the murder weapon. Hours after the murders, a detective captain was searching an alley northwest of 553 Sheldon Avenue. That's when he spotted a box of ammunition on the ground. It looked like it had been thrown there in a hurry. Right next to the ammunition was a white plastic bag. Inside the bag was a 9mm high-point pistol. Police ran tests on the gun. The results came back positive. The bullets fired at the crime scene matched the gun found in the alley. But who did the gun belong to? Detectives found the gun's serial number and purchase permit inside an empty high-point box in Cherletta's bedroom. The box was in a dresser that held men's clothing. The permit had a woman's name on it. When officers looked up that name, they found two important records. First, the woman had reported the gun stolen in July 2017. Second, she had filed a complaint in 2018 about harassing text messages from her ex-boyfriend. His name? Jay. Police also learned that the woman had described Jay as very commanding during their relationship. He controlled her. He made her feel trapped, and her gun went missing right around the time she was dating him. Detective Sergeant John Plea wrote in his report, "This information provides a connection of Derrell Demon Brown to the high-point pistol found at the scene. The evidence was clear. Brown had the motive, the weapon, and the opportunity. Now they just had to find him." Police checked security cameras in the area and found multiple videos showing Brown's movements after the murders. At 3:24 p.m. on March 13, cameras captured Brown entering the Grand Rapids Children's Museum, about a mile north of the crime scene. He told the front desk he knew someone inside the building. Staff made it clear he couldn't wander around. He left 12 minutes later at 3:36 p.m. About 20 minutes after that, another camera caught Brown walking in a different part of the city. Police later learned that one of his former girlfriends had dropped him off in that area. And then Derrell Demon Brown vanished. Kent County prosecutors quickly issued arrest warrants for Brown, but weeks turned into months and months turned into years. In July 2021, more than 2 years after the murders, the U.S. Marshals added Derrell Demon Brown to their 15 most wanted fugitives list. They offered a reward of up to $25,000 for information leading to his arrest. Acting U.S. Marshal Bruce Norden said this about Brown: "He looks very unassuming and could literally be standing behind you in a grocery checkout lane. That's what makes Brown so dangerous. He doesn't stand out. He blends in. He could be anywhere." Authorities believe Brown fled Michigan after the murders. He has family in Ohio, Wisconsin, Arizona, and Georgia, and investigators think he may be getting help from relatives or friends. But as of today, Derrell Demon Brown is still out there, still free, still a threat. If you're watching this and you've seen Derrell Brown, or if you have any information, please contact the U.S. Marshals immediately. And let me know in the comments, do you think he's still hiding in plain sight? Or has he left the country? Because until he's caught, this case will never be closed. And two families will never get the justice they deserve. For the family, the pain of losing Kiona and Cherletta was made worse by one haunting question: could they have been saved? In 2020, Kiona's mother, Keyona Griffin, and Cherletta's brothers, Sanford Cummings Sr., spoke out about the police response.
Yeah. Someone is trying to kill me and you won't knock down the door.
You don't know.
She could have been tied up in this house.
The family also questioned whether race and location played a role. Would police have tried harder if the call came from a richer, whiter neighborhood? I know people will say, "Oh, you want to pull the race card, and I don't know their motives," Keyona Griffin said. It could have been because of the color of her skin. It could have been because of the geographic location of where it happened. But the Grand Rapids Police Department and Kent County Prosecutor Chris Becker defended the officers' actions.
Quiet and the doors are locked. It's a shut-up house. The house is a very protected Fourth Amendment. They're very, you got to have some pretty good reasons to go in, and there got to be something that drive them more than just a phone call.
GRPD Sergeant John Witkowski wrote, "We take and answer every call for service based upon the information that is provided to us." The debate continues. Should the officers have done more? Could Kiona have been saved? But the tragedy didn't end there. In July 2020, a fire broke out at 553 Sheldon Avenue, SE. It started from candles that had been lit the night before for a vigil honoring Cherletta and Kiona. Cherletta Baber-Bey 65, and her 5-year-old grandson, Emarayan Cummings, died of smoke inhalation. The house was destroyed. Grand Rapids Fire Captain Paul Mason said, "The incredible loss on top of the previous tragedy. That's just the great sorrow of this whole event." So what can we learn from this tragedy? How can we prevent cases like this from happening again? First, we need to recognize the warning signs of domestic violence. Derrell Brown had a history of violence. He was controlling. He isolated Cherletta from her family. These are classic red flags. If you see someone in a relationship like this, trust your instincts. Speak up. Offer help. There are resources available, shelters, counseling, and legal assistance that can save lives. Second, law enforcement needs better training for 911 responses. When someone whispers on a 911 call, that's a sign of imminent danger. Officers should be trained to recognize this and respond with urgency. Even when doors are locked and the house looks quiet, persistence matters. Contacting neighbors, checking for forced entry, or returning to the scene could make all the difference. Third, we need stricter control over firearms. People with a history of domestic violence should not have access to guns. Stricter enforcement of existing laws and better background checks can help. Communities should also be encouraged to report illegal firearm possession, especially in homes where violence has occurred. Fourth, tracking fugitives requires better collaboration. National databases and cross-state cooperation are essential. Public awareness campaigns and media coverage keep cases like this alive. And viewers like you can help by staying informed and reporting tips to authorities. Finally, we need to understand the bigger picture. Domestic violence is a deadly problem that affects millions of people. Every call for help matters. Every warning sign matters. Communities must work together to protect the vulnerable. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, please reach out. Your call could save a life. Because Keyona Griffin made a call for help. And it wasn't enough. We owe it to her and to Cherletta to do better. 2 vibrant lives were cut short on March 13, 2019. Keyona Griffin was just 25 years old. Cherletta Baber-Bey was 47. Both were loved. Both were taken too soon. And their killer is still out there. Derrell Demon Brown remains on the U.S. Marshals 15 Most Wanted list. The search continues. But he won't be found unless people stay aware and speak up. We honor Kiona and Cherletta by learning from their story, by staying vigilant, by protecting the people we love, and by demanding better from the systems meant to keep us safe. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and share it. It could help bring Derrell Brown to justice. What do you think really happened that morning? Do you believe the police could have done more? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to stay updated on cases like this, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. Thank you for watching, and remember, justice delayed is not justice denied. We will keep fighting for Kiona and Cherletta. Rest in peace.